Okay, settle in for a moment. Before anything else, take a slow breath. Now let me ask you something. What if the reason things don't feel as clear as they once did isn't age, isn't stress, isn't time? What if it's because a part of your awareness has simply been quiet for too long? Right now, gently notice your forehead. Not with your fingers yet. Just notice it. That subtle space right above your eyes. Have you ever felt a strange pressure there? A warmth? A quiet pull? Most people ignore it. They've been taught to, but ancient traditions never did. They believed this area wasn't decoration. It wasn't random. It was a doorway. And here's the unsettling question. What if that doorway never closed? What if you just stopped listening? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why touching your forehead can gently awaken a kind of vision that doesn't come from the eyes. A vision that feels more like remembering than learning. Before we go any further, let me ask you something simple. Where are you watching this from right now? Your bed? A couch? A quiet kitchen? Maybe late at night with the volume turned low? Tell me in the comments later. I truly want to know. Now listen closely. Most of us were never taught how to feel our own nervous system. We were taught to think, to push, to solve, but not to sense. And sensing is where vision begins, not eyesight. Inner sight, the kind that tells you when something is right or deeply wrong without needing proof. You may have felt it before, a sudden knowing, a calm certainty, a warning you couldn't explain. That wasn't imagination, that was forgotten vision. And here's what most people don't realize. Your body remembers what your mind forgot. Especially the nervous system, especially the places where awareness naturally gathers, like the forehead. In just a moment, I'll guide you gently into understanding why this works, even if you've never believed in anything mystical. But first, pause. Feel your breath slow down just a little. Feel your shoulders soften. If something inside you feels drawn to this, if you feel quietly curious or strangely calm right now, trust that this channel, the Spine Gospel, exists for moments like this. Quiet moments. Honest moments. If you feel comfortable, tap like, subscribe gently. Share this with someone who needs calm more than answers. No pressure. Just intention. Because by the end of this video, you won't be trying to activate anything. You'll be remembering something that was never truly lost. And it begins right here. Stay right here. Don't rush. Let's talk about this place you've just been noticing, the forehead. For most of your life, it's probably felt ordinary. Just skin. Just bone. Just a place that wrinkles with time. But for thousands of years, human beings saw it very differently. Not as decoration. Not as coincidence. As a center. Long before modern science. Before screens, before constant noise, ancient cultures marked this area with intention. Paint, ash, oil, symbols. Not for beauty. For awareness. They believed where attention rests, energy follows. And attention naturally gathered here, right between the eyes. Just above them. A place where thought and feeling quietly meet. In ancient Egypt, this area was linked to perception beyond sight. Not superstition. Observation. They noticed something. When a person became still, when the breath softened, when fear loosened its grip, awareness rose. Not outward, inward, and it often centered here. Eastern mystics spoke about it as a gateway, not to escape the body, but to enter it more fully. They understood that the mind is not just in the head, that it flows through the whole system, and this point acted like a lens, not creating vision, focusing it. Think about moments in your own life. Times when you suddenly knew something without being told. Times when clarity arrived before explanation. Where did you feel that? Most people point here. Without being taught, they touch their forehead or press gently between the eyes. That instinct didn't come from nowhere. It came from memory. Over time, that memory faded. Daily stress took over. Survival replaced sensing. We learned to live in the chest, tight and guarded, or in the stomach, bracing and anxious. But rarely here, stillness became unfamiliar. Silence felt uncomfortable. So the forehead quieted itself. Not because it lost its function, but because it was no longer invited. Ancient traditions never said this center was magical. They said it was sensitive, like a tuning point. When awareness gathers here, the mind slows. Thoughts space out. You don't disappear. You arrive. More fully present. More observant. More connected to what's real beneath the noise. This is why across cultures, across centuries, people return to this spot. Different names. Same understanding. That this place helps the human system shift from reaction into perception. From doing into being. Nothing mystical is required to understand this. Just honesty. Have you noticed how different you feel when your attention is scattered versus when it gently centers? The forehead responds to attention. Not force. Not belief. Attention. That's why touching it later will matter, not as a trick. Not as a ritual you perform perfectly, but as a signal. A reminder to the body that it's safe to slow down. Safe to sense. Safe to remember. How awareness once flowed before life became so loud. This center was never lost. It was simply waiting to be noticed again. And as we move forward, you'll begin to understand what this forgotten vision really is. Not something new, something familiar, something your body has been quietly holding onto all along. Let's slow this down even more. Because when people hear the word vision, they immediately think of the eyes, seeing objects, reading signs, watching screens. But that's not the kind of vision we're talking about here. This is quieter. Subtler. Forgotten vision is not about looking outward. It's about sensing inward. It's the kind of knowing that arrives before words form, before logic catches up. Have you ever had a moment where something just felt right even though you couldn't explain why? Or the opposite. A situation looked fine on the surface, but something inside you tightened. That wasn't imagination. That was perception working beneath thought. That's forgotten vision. As children, most of us lived here naturally. We trusted feelings. We noticed shifts. We sensed tone and energy before anyone taught us to doubt it. A room could feel heavy. A person could feel safe. A decision could feel wrong. No analysis required. But slowly we were trained out of that. We were taught to override sensation with explanation. To ignore the body and listen only to the mind. To value proof over presence. And little by little that inner vision went quiet. Not gone. Just unused. Forgotten vision is not mystical sight. It's not seeing colors or images. It's clarity. It's the ability to notice what's real beneath appearances. It's awareness without effort. And here's something important. This vision doesn't live in the brain alone. It lives in the nervous system. In how your body responds before you consciously decide anything. That gentle pause before a reaction. That calm certainty that doesn't argue. That inner yes or no that feels grounded, not emotional. That's the vision most adults think they lost. But the body never forgot. It simply stopped being asked. Think about how life feels now. Fast, noisy, demanding. There's little space to sense. So the body adapts. It stays alert, guarded, busy. And vision narrows. Not because you're failing, because your system is trying to protect you. Forgotten vision returns not through effort, but through safety. Through slowing. Through bringing awareness back to places that help the system settle. Like the forehead. When attention gently rests there, something shifts. Not dramatically. Not all at once, but subtly. The mind stops racing ahead. The body exhales. And perception widens again. This is why so many people say, I just knew, when they look back on important moments. They weren't guessing, they were sensing. Vision without eyes. Awareness without strain. And here's a question for you. When was the last time you trusted that quiet knowing without talking yourself out of it? You don't have to answer out loud. Just notice what comes up. Because as we move forward, you'll start to see why something as simple as gentle touch and focused Attention can reopen this channel. Not by adding anything new, but by removing the noise that made you forget it was there in the first place. Now let's talk about the touch itself, not as a ritual, not as a belief, but as a signal. The human body responds to touch before it responds to thought. This is something you've known your entire life, even if you've never named it. Hand on the shoulder can calm you faster than words ever could. A gentle touch can slow the breath without instruction. Touch speaks directly to the nervous system, and the forehead is especially sensitive to this, not because it's mystical but because it's closely connected to awareness and attention. When you touch your forehead lightly and tension, your body receives a message. It says, pause, be here, nothing needs fixing right now. That message alone can change everything. Most of the time your nervous system is reacting. Planning, worrying, protecting. Touch interrupts that loop. Not forcefully, kindly. Ancient traditions understood this long before modern language existed to explain it. They used touch as a way to guide awareness back into the body, not to control energy but to cooperate with it. When awareness leaves the body, mind takes over, and the mind moves fast. Touch brings awareness home. Now here's something important. Touching the forehead is not about pressure. It's about presence. A light contact does more than force ever could, because the goal isn't stimulation. It's settling. When the forehead is touched gently, muscles of the face soften, the jaw releases, the eyes rest, and without trying the breath slows. This creates a feedback loop. The body relaxes so the mind quiets. The mind quiets so perception opens. Nothing supernatural. Just biology responding to care. This is why even people who don't believe in thistle feel something shift, because belief isn't required. Attention is. Your body doesn't need convincing. It needs permission. Touch gives that permission. It tells the system you are safe in auto. Feel again. And when feeling returns, vision widens. Not visual sight. Inner clarity. The ability to notice subtle signals instead of reacting automatically. This is also why touching the forehead has been used in moments of prayer, reflection, deep listening. Gross cultures. Different meanings. Same mechanism. Pause the noise. Center awareness. And here's something subtle but powerful. When you touch your forehead, you're also crossing the threshold from doing into being, from effort into observation. You're no longer trying to solve yourself. You're listening, and listening is where forgotten vision lives. This touch doesn't give you power. It gives you access. Access to a state they've visited before but maybe forgot how to reach. And as we continue, we'll begin to understand how this simple act connects with the nervous system in a way that gently restores clarity and calm, without force, without belief, and without strain. Let's bring science in now, but softly, without stripping this of its depth or turning it into a lecture. Because science, at its best, doesn't cancel mystery. It explains why the mystery feels real in the body. When you place attention on one gentle point like the forehead, your nervous system responds first. Not your beliefs, not your thoughts, your nervous system. This system's job is simple. To decide, am I safe or am I threatened? Most of the day it chooses protection. Deadlines, noise, screens, memories. The body stays slightly braced, even when nothing is wrong. Now here's the important part. When awareness becomes slow and focused, the nervous system receives a different signal, a calming one. Modern science calls this shift the parasympathetic state. You don't need to remember the name, just remember what it does. It slows the heart. It deepens the breath. It softens muscle tension. And it allows perception to widen. There's a key player here you may have heard of. The vagus nerve. It runs through the body like a communication highway, connecting the brain to the face, the breath, the heart, the gut. When the vagus nerve is gently stimulated, the body moves toward calm, not collapse, not sleep. Calm awareness. Touching the forehead combined with slow breathing can support this shift, not by force, by rhythm, the body recognizes. Patterns. Slow touch. Slow breath. Still attention. Together, they tell the nervous system nothing urgent is happening. And when urgency drops, clarity rises. This is where science and ancient wisdom meet. Ancient traditions didn't talk about nerves and pathways. They talked about flow. Modern science uses different words, but it's pointing to the same thing. Attention changes physiology. Physiology changes perception. Perception changes experience. Another gentle concept science is beginning to explore is something called interoception. That's just a word for sensing the inside of your body. Feeling your breath. Noticing tension. Sensing subtle shifts. People with strong interoception often have better emotional regulation. They feel sooner. So they react less. Forgotten. Vision lives here. Not in imagination, but in refined inner sensing. This is also why this works even if you're skeptical. Because the body doesn't require belief to respond to care. It responds to consistency and safety. Slow touch. Focused attention. Gentle breathing. These are universal signals. And here's something reassuring. You're not trying to activate anything. Nothing was dormant or broken. You're simply creating conditions where awareness can come back online. Like clearing fog from a window. The view was always there. Science doesn't take away the magic. It shows us that the magic was built into the body all along. And now that you understand this, not intellectually, but felt sense, we're ready to move from explanation into experience. Because knowing why is helpful, but feeling it is what changes you. Let's do this together. Now. No rush. No effort. Just presence. If you're sitting, sit comfortably. If you're lying down, that's fine too. Let your body choose ease. Now gently place one hand where it feels natural. Maybe on your lap. Maybe on your chest. Let the other hand stay free. Before touching anything, notice your breath. You don't need to change it. Just notice. Is it slow? Is it somewhere in between? There's no right answer. Now, very gently, bring 2 fingers to your forehead. Not the whole hand, just 2 fingers. Like contact. As if you're resting them there, not pressing. If this feels unfamiliar, that's okay. If it feels comforting, that's okay too. Now pause. Don't do anything yet. Just notice the temperature of your skin. The feeling of contact. Let your face soften. If your jaw is tight, allow it to release. If your eyes feel strained, let them rest. Now bring attention back to your breath. Slowly breathe in through your nose. Not deep. Just slow. And as you breathe out, imagine the breath dropping down through your body. Like warm air settling. Let's do that again. Slow. Inhale. Soft exhale. Nothing forced. Now, here's the key part. As your fingers rest on your forehead, imagine a soft awareness gathering beneath them. Not like yet. Just attention. Like listening. You're not trying to feel anything special. You're observing. Thoughts may come. Let them pass. If you get distracted, that's normal. Just come back to the feeling of touch. Now take another breath. Inhale slowly. As you exhale, imagine any tension in your face melting downward. From the forehead, to the eyes, to the jaw. Let the shoulders drop slightly. Good. Now we'll add a gentle variation. Without moving your fingers. Slightly increase awareness of the space beneath them. As if that area is becoming more awake. Not energized. Awake. Like turning toward a sound. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, quietly say to yourself, I'm listening. No one else needs to hear it. Just notice what happens. There may be nothing. There may be a sense of calm. There may be emotion. All of it is welcome. Now let's pause here for a few breaths. Stay with the touch. Stay with the breath. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back. This is not concentration. It's companionship. You're keeping yourself company. Now for the second cycle. This time, as you breathe in, imagine the breath rising up the center of your body, from the chest, up the neck, toward the forehead. As you breathe out, imagine it spreading outward across the forehead like warmth. Dot soft. Even. Calming. Dot again. Dot inhale, upward. Exhale, outward. Dot notice how the body responds. The breath may deepen, the mind may quiet, or nothing may change. All outcomes are valid. Dot now, if it feels comfortable, slightly lighten the touch. Barely there. Dot as if your fingers are reminding your body you're paying attention. This subtlety matters. The nervous system responds to gentleness that not demand. Dot. Take another slow breath. Dot and ask yourself, without forcing an answer, how does my body feel right now? Not good or bad. Dot, just different or same. Dot now we'll add the final cycle. If at any point you want to stop, you can. You're in control. Dot as you breathe in, imagine a quiet clarity spreading inward. Not brightness. Dot clarity. Dot as you breathe out, let the rest of the body settle around it, like water becoming still. Stay here for a few breaths. No visualization required. If it doesn't come naturally, presence is enough. Dot now slowly remove your fingers from your forehead. Dot do it gently. Dot notice the absence of touch. Sometimes that's where awareness speaks. Dot notice your breath again. Has it changed? Notice your body. Has anything softened? There's no right experience. Some people feel calm, some feel emotional, some feel nothing at all. Dot. All of these are signs of a nervous system learning to listen. Dot before moving on, ask yourself one simple question. What do I notice now that I didn't notice before? You don't need to answer. Just let the question linger. Dot this practice isn't about perfection. Dot it's about familiarity. You're reintroducing yourself to a way of sensing that's always been available. And as you carry this feeling forward, you may begin to notice subtle shifts. Not during the practice, but after. Dot in how you respond. Dot in how you pause. Dot in how you listen. And that's where the deeper changes begin. Dot after a practice like that, people often ask a quiet question. Did it work? That question is understandable, but it comes from the mind wanting proof. Forgotten vision doesn't announce itself loudly. Dot it returns in small, human ways. One of the first signs is a subtle sense of calm, not excitement, not happiness. Dot just less tension where tension used to live. You might notice your shoulders drop without thinking, or your breath naturally slows. Another sign is emotional clarity. Feelings may surface that you didn't know you were carrying. Some people feel a wave of sadness, others feel relief. Some feel nothing at all. All of this is normal. Emotion moving is perception, waking up. Another gentle sign is increased intuition. You may find yourself hesitating before reacting, pausing instead of pushing forward, listening instead of explaining. That pause is vision. Not seeing images, sensing timing. Some people notice their sleep changes. They fall asleep faster or wake less often. Not because they're exhausted, because the nervous system feels safer resting. You may also notice a new sensitivity. Sounds may feel louder. Crowded spaces more intense. This isn't weakness. It's awareness widening, like adjusting focus after living in blur. Another sign is a shift in how you make decisions. Choices feel quieter. Less debate, less pressure. You may feel drawn toward what feels steady instead of what feels urgent. That's forgotten vision guiding from within. Some people experience a strange tenderness toward themselves, toward others. Old judgments soften. There's more room to breathe. And here's something important. Some people feel nothing. No sensation, no emotion. That doesn't mean nothing is happening. It often means the nervous system is still learning that it's safe. Safety comes in layers. Vision returns at its own pace. Another sign is increased presence. You may notice small details more clearly. Light through a window, the weight of a cup in your hand, the sound of your own footsteps. This is not distraction. It's embodiment. You're inhabiting your own life again. And here's a question for you. As you listen to these signs, which one feels familiar? Calm, pause, tenderness, nothing yet? You don't have to explain it, but if you feel comfortable, Share it in the comments later, even a single word, because noticing is the first act of remembering. Forgotten vision doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you've been all along, quietly, gently, in your own time. What you've just experienced isn't meant to stay here. It's meant to follow you into your day, into ordinary moments. This practice works best when it becomes simple, not special, not dramatic. Just familiar. Once a day is enough. Choose a quiet moment, morning before the noise begins. Or evening, when the day loosens its grip. Sit comfortably, 2 fingers on the forehead. Light touch, slow breath. That's it. Don't need long sessions. 1 or 2 minutes is enough to remind the nervous system what calm feels like. Over time, something subtle happens. You stop reacting so quickly. There's space between feeling and action. That space is where clarity lives. You may notice you speak more slowly, listen more fully. You feel less pull be urgency. This isn't withdrawal. It's grounding. The body learns that it doesn't need to stay alert all the time. And when the body feels safe, vision widens, not dramatically. Gradually. You may sleep deeper. Not longer. Deeper. You may feel emotions rise and pass without overwhelming you. You may notice your decisions feel simpler. Not because life got easier, because perception got clearer. If you miss a day, nothing is lost. This isn't discipline. It's relationship. You're building trust with your own system. Some days practice will feel calming. Some days it will feel neutral. Some days it may bring emotion. All of it belongs. The real change isn't what you feel during the practice. It's what you notice hours later. A pause where there used to be panic. A breath where there used to be tension. That's quiet transformation. No announcements. No labels. Just a return to how awareness was always meant to move through you. And that return happens in gentle moment at a time. Before you move on, pause for a moment. Feel your body right where you are. Nothing dramatic, nothing forced. Just notice that you're here. This work was never about achievement. You didn't unlock anything. You didn't gain a power. You didn't activate a hidden switch. You remembered. You remembered how to listen. How to slow. How to let awareness settle back into the body instead of racing ahead of it. That's why this feels familiar. Not new, not strange. Familiar. Because the body never forgot. Only the mind did. There's something deeply important about that. It means you're not broken. You never were. You were just living in a world that taught you to move faster than your nervous system could follow. Touching the forehead wasn't the point. Breathing wasn't the point. Even this practice wasn't the point. The point was giving yourself permission to return. To cone. A quieter way of knowing. A way that doesn't argue, doesn't rush, doesn't demand certainty. Just presence. That's the heart of the spine gospel. Not fixing the body, not chasing enlightenment. But learning how to inhabit yourself. Again, now I want to ask you something. As you sit here after listening to this, what feels different? Even slightly. Is it your breath? Your shoulders? Your thoughts? Or do you simply feel a little more here? There's no right answer, but if you feel comfortable, tell me in the comments. One word is enough. And let me know this too. Did this help you feel calmer? More grounded? Or did it not resonate at all? You can like it. You can dislike it. Both are honest responses. And honesty matters here. If you're open to continuing, there's another quiet practice I'd like to share with you soon. One that works with the spine and deepens this sense of inner listening even further. But for now, take this with you into the kitchen, into the evening, into your next breath. You don't need to try. You don't need to search. What you were looking for was already inside you, waiting to be remembered.